So that makes my super hot blonde Alvarin girlfriend my very first girlfriend. You might think that my very first girlfriend on this planet trying to slice my head off probably wasn't a good sign for the longevity of our relationship, but you'd be wrong. This was a massive step up from when I'd first met her. Saren was back on her feet in some sort of elegant rollback flip combo thing that bewildered me. She spun her blades and darted back in, hungry for first blood. Even with the lighter cleavers, I was slower than her, sluggish-looking compared to the impossible grace of Alvarin. But I didn't need to be faster when I knew where every blow was going to fall. I'd been watching Alvarin fight since I first landed on Amaranth, or at least after I'd brought the species back from the special goblin hell that their queen had dumped them in, and I knew their moves now. Every one of them trained relentlessly for centuries to fight perfectly. But that perfection was a carbon copy of everyone else's. Once you could beat one of them, you could beat all of them. It was really a shame I hadn't quite worked out how to beat a single one of them yet. She came in hard and fast, as always, not overcommitting, but pushing to see my limits. I had a better reach than her, as my cleavers ran longer than the needle blades of hers, despite their heft, and one of my arms was almost the size of her whole body. I just had to use that advantage, hold her back out of striking distance, and wear her down. It might not have looked like it to the audience of gathered to Vergar, where they were lounging around the jungle clearing taking bets, but even though I was staggering and a bit beleaguered, I wasn't actually tiring. I couldn't. It was a fawn thing. We didn't get tired. I just had to outlast a swordswoman who'd been committing murder on a professional level since before the human race had crawled out of our caves back on Earth. Easy. The first few strokes of her blade were coordinated, one razor edge chasing the other as she spun. Both chipped off one cleaver, leaving my other one free to sweep uselessly through the space where she'd stood. A moment too late. She took to the air again, springing over that swing, spinning still, and forcing me to duck or risk losing my face. Touching down, she pounced back in at me. That would have been me dead again, but the flats of my cleavers were broad enough to serve as little shields when I swept them around. I turned the thrusts away, almost like I made them that way on purpose. There was no time to make my own attack while that had her off balance. That was the thing you noticed with the Alvarin. The thing that made them look like they were so damned graceful. They weren't making one move and then making another once they'd done something. There was no stutter, no pause, as one motion flowed into the next. It was all one move. Like everything that they were doing was a dance, and you were just in the middle of it. In the middle of a dance that nobody had taught you the steps to. It looked like it was time to get down to business when she strode back in again, and the baying Vergar could tell too. They started hooting and hollering as the fight went from dramatic to methodical. A thrust, a parry, a feint, a cut, a riposte. Each of the Alvarin's hands moved independently of the other, each of them working me through a full fencing routine. 2 full fencing routines at once. All things considered, I felt like I held up pretty well. Like I was dancing too, moving back and forth across the packed dirt beneath our feet with some measure of competence that I didn't really feel like I'd earned. Most of her feints were at my face, and most of her real strikes were at my body, almost like she was scared to mess up my pretty face. That, or she wanted to make me extra distracted, as I had to concentrate on not peeing myself every time a needle-sharp blade tip came at my eyeballs. Probably that. I had strength on my side, though it probably wasn't that obvious given how fast she could recover. Every time I slapped one of her attacks wide with the flat of a cleaver, the force was almost enough to jerk the weapon out of her hand. I wasn't trying to win by overpowering her, but I wasn't trying to lose either. I was always going to be stronger than pretty much anything vaguely human-shaped, and acting like I wasn't wouldn't teach me how to fight better. Her rhythm picked up once she'd rattled through a few of her attack routines, until her hands were a blur. She kept me stepping back, running me in circles around the clearing, hoping I'd trip over a protruding rock or root like I'd done so.